Good morning. This is Yomai Lara, and I'm your host on Sunday Morning Dose. Here at Sunday Morning Dose, we discuss God's Word from Christ's perspective. If it doesn't make sense to Christ, we don't know why it should make sense to us as a believer and follower of Christ. So today we'll continue the conversation on prospering through Christ. Prospering through Christ. How do we prosper through Christ? Prospering through Christ. And today we would continue from where we stopped the other day, talking about love, and then that it is impossible for us to prosper through Christ without loving, without being a loving being, without loving people around us and afar. It is impossible. That will be the first principle that we will learn from following Christ. That in order for us to effectively follow Christ, we need to be loving. We need to love. And we disclose that we need to love God. The first person we need to love is God. But how do we effectively love God if we can't love the people we can see around us? So the way to loving God is actually the loving people. So of course the focus is loving God, is on loving God. You just want to express your love to God. You just want to be fond of that God. But how do we express that love? Is by loving people. By loving people. And one of the things love will do, according to 1 Corinthians 2 verse 9, is that love open us up to ideas, because things that God has planned for people who love Him are things that eyes have not seen, are things that ears have not heard, are things that has not even come into men's imagination. So the ideas will be delivered through loving, by loving God. Is for the ones who loved God. And how would you know if you truly love God? You love people, because God wants to share an idea that will not just be monopolized by you or me, but that will be shared also. The whole essence of that revealing is for sharing. And you will see it in a bit that is for sharing. In Luke 9 verse 3, and Jesus said to his disciples, and he said to them, take nothing from your journey that might encumber you, neither a walking stick, nor bag, nor bread, nor money. Do not even have 2 tunics apiece. He sent them out in Mark chapter 16 verse 15. Mark 16 verse 15. And he said to them, go into all the world and preach the gospel to all creation. So the idea for loving is that it makes us to be prepared, ready to share. If you are not willing to share with others, then it shows that you're not loving. That is what it means. It shows that you're not loving. God won't give us or make us what He wants to make us for just ourselves or our family alone. The idea for God's love, the idea for God's invention, the ideas behind God's ideas is that He wants to deliver it to people that can share with the world. Remember, Christ described us as the light and the salt. And in that passage of the Bible, he went further to say the whole idea of light is not to be hidden. The whole idea of light is to be a place where others can share with. So if we are light, we must be willing and ready to share. We must be willing and ready to share. It's not something that we should be we should be thinking about. It's something that should be natural to us. It's something that should come by default for us. So we should be willing to share. And once we are willing to share, what should we do? We go out and preach the gospel. But what gospel should we preach? What should we preach? Or who are we going to turn to by following Christ? Or who should we should become when we follow Christ? Remember that when Christ met his very first set of his disciples, who were fishermen, in Matthew 4 verse 18, I read, as Jesus was walking by the Sea of Galilee, he noticed two brothers, Simon, who was called Peter, and Andrew, his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. And he said to them, follow me as my disciples, accepting me as your master and teacher, and walking the same path of life that I walk, and I will make you fishers of men. So the idea here is that he turned them from fishing for fishes to being fishers of men. So what does it really mean? What does it really mean to become fishers of fishes, to turn from fishers of fishes to becoming fishers of men? It means when Jesus was through with them, he made every skill to be tailored on people. Before, their job was to get fishes. Their job was not to be interested if it eventually gets to the person that needs fishes, if he actually cure economic problem. That was not their job. But when God wanted them to become, when Christ would turn them to become fishers of men, their job is no longer getting fishes. Their job is now more detailed about making sure that the fishes get to the men. Meaning the gospel and your profession is equally the same. But your profession is about pay. Once you are interested in just the pay, you have a profession. But when you go further, by getting interested in making sure that what you do actually have a direct impact on people's life, that it took people from point A to point B and is translating their life into meaning, then you are now doing the gospel. I will take that again. So if love gets us to the point where we are loving, if love will get us to the point where God begins to share his ideas with us, is revealing his own secrets to us because we love him, we genuinely love him. The reason why we genuinely love him is because we can share with people, we can share with others. And if God is giving us ideas, those are our gospels. That is our gospel. For instance, I'm in tech industry. If God gives me an idea in tech industry because I love him, then I come out, design my tech business, and make sure that it helps, it delivers on the promises to the person that I want to sell it to. And that's the difference between profession. Not just that I'm interested in selling it and making money, but that someone is gladly paying for it, and they say, thank you that I even met you, thank you that I saw you. And I don't know if you've ever come into people like that who you've paid for their service, but you know that what they've delivered is beyond what you paid for, that what they've delivered is truly valuable to you, is truly valuable to you, not that they bamboozle you into buying something you will never need or use, but that they bamboozle you timely. They introduce a product or service that you are in need, that is in timely use. So my point is that by the time we get to this point where our skills, talent becomes people-centric, so the question is not, I'm so gifted, is that how can I help my world with my gift? How can I bless my world with my gift? How can I use technology to solve some of the immediate challenges in my world? How can I use my my oratory to solve some of the challenges in the world? How can I use my skill set, my talent to solve some of the problems in the world? So Christ will teach them to go into the world. But this time around, not looking for fishes, but looking for men who need fishes. So they would have become people-centric, not market-centric, not indices-centric. So the idea is that we should not think of people as numbers. We should think of people as the main thing. And here is what Christ says is going to follow. The supernatural effect would follow. Once you love, you set out to deliver on the things that Christ will have revealed to you, and you have been equipped mentally and physically to deliver those things, and you set out to deliver them. Miracles will follow, multiplication would follow. In verse 17, Mark 16 verse 17, I'm reading from an amplified version of the Bible. These signs will accompany those who have believed. In my name, they will cast out demons. They will speak in new tongues. Meaning supernatural will happen. They will cast out demons. They will solve problems. They will cast out demons. They will solve problems. And they will speak in new tongue. Visions. They would speak in new tongues. They would have visions. They would have accuracy of language. There will be hope in their voice. And in their voices, when they do speak, there will be insight to what they say, what they should say. There will be solutions provided for people. There will be supernatural at work effortlessly. Verse 18, they will pick up serpents, and if they drink any deadly thing, it will not hurt them. They will lay hands on the sick and they will get well. Meaning there will be protection. The things that should happen and should make someone should have to become a prosperous person would happen by supernatural. But the but there is that first, love must be at play. Then secondly, you must be about people focus. My service is not complete if the client or the person who is going to use the service would not if the service will not deliver 100% of the value for that person. It's not when the person buys it that my job is completed. No, it's when the person interacts with the service and realize that this is good for me. How I wish we could get to this point, Christ's way, where someone does not just get happy being paid, but someone's happiness comes by the testimonials of people who have used their service. And they do not have to tell you, just have to know within you that you are giving your best to people at time. And when you do so, the supernaturals would happen. First, there will be results beyond your widest imagination. There will be supernatural at play. You will cast out demons. You will solve problems. And once you solve problems, you will be making more money. And you will speak with hope. You will speak with authority. You will become an authority in that field. Many people will consult you to come and teach them and come and learn from you. And when you do that, you won't need to worry about your protection. You won't need to worry about your protection, because supernaturally you will be protected. You will have peace. You will have health. You will live in health. When these things have been implemented. So, on this note, we'll bring our journey on prospering through Christ to an end. And then I want to encourage you to begin to be loving and focus on delivering your ideas to people and not just making money. Let the ideas touch the lives of people around you and afar, and not just about making money, not just about selling them a solution they will not use forever, but about being interested in the people who would use the solution. And one of the things this will do is that it propels you to improve, constantly improving on your solution. When you're thinking about the people and not money, when you think about the money, you've delivered it. Whether you serve them or not, that's the problem. But when you think about the people, you constantly think about, what can I review? How can I create edition? And from 0.1 edition, you move to better. From better to 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. And before you know what is going on, you are making money and money and money and money over and over again. Why? Because people sees and know that your service or product is genuinely interested in them, is interesting to them, is delivering value, and they will pay for it. So till we see some other time, same station next week. This is Sunday Money Dose, and I'm your host, Chioma Ilara. Keep prospering, Christ way. Thank you.